Okay, start that sentence again.
So now we're to the point of understanding the dynamic that we can use to inject community-based energy at a large scale. Because while the purpose says they have to purchase, but the utilities are saying, oh, but we only have to purchase at our avoided cost, which is 2 cents, not enough to cash flow. While at the same time, the wholesale market has the price of delivered power to a point right next to a community at about 7 cents. That's a contradiction. So now if you're a developer, you can go to court and say, well, this is not fair. Under PURPA, they have to purchase, and my price is less than 7 cents, which is what you're paying anyway to do it. Why is that not the avoided cost if I'm avoiding that 4 cents and that 3 cents? And we will win that case, and we have won. But it's a rare developer who is willing to take the risk and the time and the expense in those kinds of markets to challenge the utility industry in that regard. And the fact that there are a couple who have done it heroically means that we now have the track record that allows us to go forward and say that we can establish a market price for power based on a power purchase agreement that recognizes not just the cost of the fuel not burned, but the actual localized marginal price as defined by existing markets in the electric utility industry.
Got it.
So that's what we're doing. And we're calling that an avoided cost tariff. It will be somewhere usually in the 4 to the 6 cent range, which is plenty enough to cash flow many projects. And then, so we're going to do that through Public Utilities Commission proceedings with it, filing complaints and filing for tariffs for those kinds of prices and ability to negotiate prices through through power purchase agreements. And then we're also going to legislators and saying we want to pass legislation in such a way that the projects that qualify for the tariff that we're asking the Public Utilities Commission to establish, they have to have a public face. They have to be public benefits entities. So it could be a local unit of government, it could be a nonprofit organization, it could be a school or a university or a hospital, but some entity, a local economic development entity of some sort. But it has to be a way in which the public benefit of doing this kind of development accrues to the community that's serving the power. And one of the ways that we can ensure that is by sizing these projects in such a way that they'll fit almost anywhere. The transmission grid, the high voltage system tends to be constrained. In other words, there's a whole lot more generation out there, as there needs to be, capacity that's available to produce power than what we're using at any point in time. And if there weren't, why, we'd have blackouts. So there is, and that's what the job of MISO is in the market, to sort out which of those generators goes now. But they all tend to be relatively large, and so they need to have the access to the high voltage system. And in order to do that, you got to queue up with the MISO and get a very sophisticated and very expensive study done, transmission access study done, so you're not burning up transformers and causing blackouts and brownouts and disrupting the system. But if you're small enough, and small enough means 5 megawatts or less, which is still a huge chunk of power. These are big machines. These are the wind turbines with 80-foot high towers and wingspans that span acres. So they're large utility scale machines. But if you take 2 of them and put them 600 or 800 meters apart so that they're plenty spaced out, they're not in each other's wind shadows, and fill in the space in between with a panel of solar collectors, photovoltaic array, now you have a hybrid system that can almost be guaranteed to be delivering some amount of power to the system at its peak. Now that's valuable. So you have more to offer to the system than just raw energy when the wind happens to be blowing. You have capacity value that you're bringing, which allows you to